You know, when we talk about AI, our minds usually jump to how it's changing our jobs or our creativity or just our day-to-day lives. But there's this other revolution happening, one that's a lot less visible, but honestly could be way more consequential. We're talking about the total transformation of military strategy and really the very nature of global power. And to get what's at stake, we first have to grapple with how AI challenges our very identity.
To really understand the stakes, we've got to start right here. This quote from futurist Tracy Follows is, well, it's a bombshell. She argues the biggest threat isn't some Skynet Terminator-style apocalypse. No, it's something way more subtle. It's an internal crisis over what it even means to be human in the first place. It's a really powerful way to frame the challenge we're about to dive into.
And that brings us right to the core question of this whole explainer. I mean, if AI is powerful enough to reshape who we are from the inside, what in the world is it doing to the way nations prepare for, and maybe even fight, conflicts on the outside?
Okay, so to get started, let's look at what the experts themselves are seeing in their crystal balls. A really comprehensive study from Elon University back in 2023 basically asked a bunch of top tech analysts, what's our world going to look like in 2040? And what they found was this deep mix of incredible promise and profound anxiety.
So, 5 big themes bubbled up from all their responses. First, a really deep one. AI is going to force us to completely redefine what a human even is. Second, our current social and political systems, they're not built for this. They'll have to be totally reinvented. Third, there's this big fear that if we rely too much on AI, we could actually become, well, less capable. It could enfeeble us. Fourth, and this is crucial, they all pretty much agree that the tech itself isn't the real problem. It's us. It's our potential to misuse it. But on the bright side, these same experts see absolutely enormous potential for breakthroughs in science, health, and education.
And this quote just perfectly captures the urgency. Futurist Leni Rachel Anderson doesn't mince words, does she? She basically says if we don't build new ways to govern our own creations, we risk total systemic collapse. So with that rather stark warning in mind, let's see how these abstract fears are turning into very concrete realities.
Right. This isn't just a philosophical debate for a university classroom anymore. We're now shifting into the hard realities of geopolitics, because this AI revolution is smack dab in the middle of a new great power competition.
Sometimes a single number can tell a massive story, and this is one of them. According to analysis in the U.S. Army War College's journal Parameters, China's shipbuilding capacity is now over 200 times greater than America's. Let that sink in. This isn't just about boats. It's a huge indicator of industrial scale in this new competitive era.
And all that industrial might? It's translating directly into military power. A recent bipartisan commission came to this really sobering conclusion, that decades of U.S. military advantage are basically being erased. This sets the stage for a completely new kind of strategic thinking.
So this new strategic environment has given birth to a new military doctrine, one that's been analyzed by the National Defense University. It's called system destruction warfare. And it's not about building better tanks or faster jets, it's a completely different theory of how you win a war.
Under this doctrine, the goal is no longer to go out and defeat an enemy's army in some big, dramatic battle. Forget that. Instead, the goal is to paralyze their entire operational system, their ability to see what's happening, to make decisions, and to act on them. Victory is achieved when the enemy just can't function anymore.
And this is what that target looks like. Now, this looks complicated, but think of this diagram as the military's central nervous system. You can see how information flows from reconnaissance, the eyes and ears, through command centers, and then out to the actual units on the ground. It's the network connecting the sensors to the shooters. And in system destruction warfare, this whole network becomes the bullseye.
Let's break that down. The whole system is built on these key nodes. You've got the reconnaissance intelligence system, literally the eyes and ears gathering data. That data then flows to the command and control system. That's the brain making the decisions. And the thing connecting it all is the military information infrastructure. You can think of those as the nerves. The whole point of system destruction is to just sever those connections.
Because if you can stop the flow of data between the eyes and the brain, you create total paralysis. The enemy might still have incredibly powerful weapons, but they can't use them effectively. You win by making their decision-making process collapse, not by blowing up their forces one by one.
But here's where this gets really unsettling. This new way of thinking about war, it doesn't just stop at the military's edge. Its logic extends directly into our civilian life, creating an invisible battlefield right inside a nation's own borders.
And this is not some theoretical exercise. According to reporting in Parameters, a state-sponsored cyber group they've nicknamed Volt Typhoon has already gotten inside key parts of U.S. civilian infrastructure. We're talking about the systems that control our ports, our power grids, our water, our communications. They're targeting the nervous system of our everyday life.
And this is exactly why it matters so much. One military strategist didn't call these cyber attacks simple spying. They called it operational preparation of the battlefield. The whole idea is to have your pieces already on the board, ready to disrupt the U.S. homeland and paralyze the country's ability to respond if a crisis ever kicks off.
So all of this brings our explainer right back to where we started. We're faced with a technology that can so profoundly change both war and society, and it leaves us with this massive question. How do we possibly govern our own creation?
You know, just as that Elon University survey made so clear, there's a really strong consensus among experts that our current institutions are just not up to the task. They were designed for a much slower, much less complex world. We urgently need new forms of governance. According to expert Beth Novak, this leaves us with a fundamental choice. We can either play defense, focusing only on managing risk and trying to stop AI from causing harm, or we can play offense. We can proactively use these exact same tools to strengthen democracy, to improve how we govern, and to solve some of our biggest problems. And ultimately, the future isn't written in stone. As Marina Gorbis from the Institute for the Future reminds us, we have agency here. The path that technology takes is not inevitable. It's going to be determined by the social infrastructure, the rules, the norms that we choose to build, starting right now. And so we're going to end with this incredibly powerful question from futurist James Cassio. It just cuts right to the heart of everything. In this new world we're all building together, who is ultimately in control? It sounds like a question about technology, but it's so much more than that. It's a question about power, about freedom, and about the very future of human choice itself.